Okay. So everybody, y'all can mute yourself if you will. And I just want to take a second to thank you all, every single person that's gone on tonight. Thank you for taking time out of your evenings to hop on our Live with Liz call. And I'm excited that we have switched these over to Zoom because we get to see each other's faces, and I love getting to see you all each week. And I'm super duper excited and humbled that Erin, Barton, now I keep wanting to call you Rosario, but has taken time out of her evening to be on our call tonight and just share with us something that I've had on my heart for a while. And it's just really, it's amazing that she mentioned it this week, just about what it means to be a mentor and what that means for us and for our businesses, and how we can really translate that into being all that we should be and all that we're kind of called to be. So I want to read that quote really quick again as we get started. Mentoring is a brain to pick, an ear to listen, and a push in the right direction by John Crosby. And I saw that and I was like, that's gotta be the title for this. So I was excited to see it because I'm not going to steal your thunder. I'm going to let you share what it means for you and how you think that kind of is really one of the biggest keys, if you ask me, to this business. I love the beginning quote, or the title of the book by John Maxwell, good leaders ask great questions. And so I think of that a lot when I think of this whole mentoring thing. So if you will, just kind of share with us some of your story, and I'll just kind of let you take it from there.
Okay, that's fine. I made a couple notes, and I'll try not to keep you guys for a long time, but I started my business June 11th of 2013, and my sister actually was the one looking for network marketing. She was in real estate. They started buying rental properties when they were in college, and then they amassed, a pretty decent sized fortune by the mid-30s. They were worth a few $1 million, and she actually got a medical diagnosis and went totally bankrupt. They lost everything trying to save her life. And so she started looking for a network marketing company that she could build that would sustain them if something happened to either one of them. So she kept bringing me companies for like 2 years, and I was like, no, that pay plan's not good. I just, Anyway, I ended up finding Plexus on Facebook, and I watched the testimonial page. This was back then, we had this big giant testimonial page. So I watched this testimonial page for like two or 3 months. And I had never tried the products. The girl who added me to the page, I didn't know very well. And I saw her a couple of times, and I was like, what is this stuff or whatever? And she kind of just was like, she had a lot of stuff going on in her personal life, so she didn't really tell me anything about it. So eventually, I finally just decided to join. So I called her up one day and I was like, what's your website? And I bought a welcome pack. I bought the $199 welcome pack, signed up, joined, called my 5 of my friends over to my house, and I'm like, meet me here on Friday. I doled them all out 7 days of Slim and Accelerate I came from. I didn't even know if it was really going to work, but I'm like, let's try it. So we weighed and measured everybody. And then I called my sister, my neighbor, my other sister. I just was like, well, the first thing, before I did that, I got on Facebook and I was like, who can tell me how I get paid? Because I was going to do this for a business. I'm a size 4. I've been a size 4 my whole life. I'm pretty healthy. So I was thinking, I'm just going to do this for the financial gains. And my husband had a good job. He was a 6-figure income earner. So it wasn't like we really had to have the money, but I wanted the financial freedom. His job was really bad. It was really hard on him. He worked sometimes 100 hours a week. He was miserable. He made me miserable. So I was like, you have got to get out of that job. And we just took off. Obviously you guys know that the products are amazing. So with amazing products, it's pretty easy to do. I went silver my first week. I went gold in 8 weeks, senior gold in 12 weeks, or no, senior gold in 16 weeks. And then I went ruby the following month, and then senior ruby the following month, and then in my 9th month I went emerald. And I went from emerald was in like May, I think, or April. March or April, I can't remember now. And then, you know, our business just kept taking off. My sister went emerald the same time as me. We were doing great. And then the diamond that was above me left for another company. And so this is why leadership is one of my biggest things I love to talk about, because she took, at that point I was around 2,500 points, and I lost so many people on my team that I went all the way down to 1,535 points. So I lost almost 1,000 pay points. And of course our team was devastated. So when you lose points like that and you lose people, you lose momentum, you lose the joy that your business is giving you. I mean, it's just really hard. It's scary, it's frustrating. Plus we were new. We didn't really have much of an upline anyway. At that time, because the girl I signed under had, you know, personal issues going on, so she was like off the radar. Then the diamond above us, the 2 diamonds above us left. So we really were just trying to figure it out on our own. So we, that was around 15 months in, 15, 16 months into the business. So we went all the way back down to emerald. So then I spent the next year just trying to get my points back from where they were and to go sapphire. And so I love to talk about leadership because it's really important in the business. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people struggle with, really figuring out when to become the leader, what to do when you're a leader, what does that look like? You know, people talk about personal growth a lot in this business, but even for me, when I first started, everyone's like, personal growth. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? You know, I mean, it's just hard to understand what they're talking about until you start going through it. And so hopefully I can try to give you some insight as to why people say that and what does that personal growth really look like or mean. So now, I guess to finish out my story, my sister and her husband are both emeralds now, and I'm a sapphire and my husband's an emerald. So obviously we've recovered and we're like on our way moving forward. And so our team is doing well. But the first thing I want to tell you is that if you're wondering when you become a leader or when you should start working on your leadership skills, it is the first time you sign somebody. When you have one person on your team, you are a leader, or you're taking that role as a leader because you are telling that person that you're going to lead them on this journey. And so that's when you should really start focusing on becoming a leader and the things, you know, start adding tools to your belt that are going to help you be the best leader that you can be. The second thing, and I'll give you some of those tools in a minute, but the second thing that I want to talk about is going gold. A lot of people go gold and they get stuck. I don't know what all your ranks are and stuff like that, but I've seen it happen a lot of times. And something, you know, my sister and I talked about this a lot and trying to figure out why. Why would someone get stuck at gold? You know, they're doing so great, they're excited, you know, they get to gold and they're like, yeah, I'm going senior gold, and it's like dead in the water. Well, one of the biggest mistakes I think people make when they get to gold is that when you're ranking to gold, your leaders and your upline are pouring into you, and they're pouring into all of your new people, right? So they're helping you sign them, they're getting them excited, they're helping you get to gold. And then when you turn gold, it's now you have 20 people and you're the leader. So I think a lot of people forget that now it's your responsibility to pour into your downline like that. You are the one who is fueling the excitement, the momentum, the motivation. You have to now carry your people that you signed to gold. So obviously you want to take them to silver first, but that I feel like is where a lot of people get stuck, because the transition from going out and finding your people to actually leading your people it feels different, keeping up the excitement and stuff. A lot of people don't know how to do it. So that's why I say when you first sign your first person, you've got to start working on the things that it means to become a leader, whether that is doing videos for your downline, reading books. You all should be reading a book. I probably read, when we're not in total chaos, I bet I read 3 books a month. I'm either reading them on my phone, on my or in person. I love books like handheld books. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I just like turning the pages, I guess. So reading books, watching videos. So TED Talks are awesome. If you've never been on there, that's a great resource. And it's videos, it's speaking videos from all different kinds of leaders from all different kinds of businesses. So you're not only just looking at, network marketing. You're getting tips from other kinds of people that are talking about, being vulnerable, showing your heart, how to teach people, how to train, just all different kinds of things like that. Of course, the other diamonds in the company are great to watch their videos. So educating yourself that way is really important. Just keep building on it. And the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is why this is what the personal growth looks like. So as you're going through and doing all these things, you're going to get to a place as a leader where you have a downline that is trying to promote, right? So you're teaching them how to set goals. You're teaching them how to duplicate. You are giving them the tools. Like, this is where you get your testimonials from. This is where we do 3 ways, and we, follow the success guide and all that stuff, right? So you've handed them all the tools. And then you're standing back there going, you can do it. You got this. I'm so excited that you want to go gold. That's awesome. Every day. And when you're watching them as their leader, maybe that person is not doing what it takes, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what level you guys are at, but sometimes like you're going, yeah, they're not posting on Facebook. They haven't brought me a 3-way in forever. They're not doing 3-ways with their own downline. They're not doing any training videos. Whatever it is that they're not doing, in your heart that they're not doing it. This is where leadership comes from. You have to be able to call that person up and tell them that. Which is really hard, because a lot of times we're working with our friends. I mean, I was working with my sister, my big sister, and it took me a long time to be able to call her up and go, I've been watching you talk to your team for a while, and I think you're making a big mistake in this area. And I think it's stopping you from growing. Sometimes those conversations are hard to have. I mean, if you've got to call up a leader and tell them that their ego is getting in the way of their business, they're not going to be very happy with you at first. At first they're going to be defensive and frustrated, but you have to look at it like, if you really care about them, you'll tell them you'll show them where they're making an error of their ways, because that's what's going to make them grow and have their personal growth moment so that they can actually become what they want to become. Instead of sitting in the background going, great job, great job, great job. You know, of course you want to cheer everybody on. That is so important. I mean, being excited, loving on your team, doing all that stuff is majorly important. But don't forget that if you're cheering someone on and they're telling you they want it and you're telling them great job and they're not actually doing the work that it's going to take, essentially you're lying to them. Because you're telling them that they can get there, so they think they're doing everything they're supposed to be doing. Because you're telling them that they are. So you have to be able to make those hard phone calls sometimes. And that's where your personal growth comes in, because now they have a downline that you're also responsible for. So sometimes you have to make a move that is better for your whole team than maybe is better for yourself. And what I mean by that is sometimes that person, you know, we all want everyone to like us and love us. Sometimes they're not going to like that conversation, or they might not like you for a day or two. 99% of the time, they're going to come back to you and go, thank you for telling me that, because even though I was mad when you told me, it really helped me. And you see big changes in their now, but you're basically sacrificing the chance that that person's mad at you in an effort to make that person a better leader, a stronger leader, to be better with their team, to help their team grow more. And so I feel like reading books and building your confidence and going through all these phases that you start out at when you first sign your ambassador, your very first ambassador, is what you work up to when you become, you know, a jewel and you have a lot of people watching you. Because as you go throughout your business, your team is watching you at every level. They want to see what you're doing. Are you portraying a leader? So are you running an online event? Are you having the team call? Are you running a book club? What are you doing? And if you're doing it, then if you're doing all those steps, you are the leader. You are becoming the leader. You are the person that they want to follow. If you're putting it off on your upline, like, well, she has a book club and she has a leader group and she's doing online, you know, that's not putting you in a position where your team can look at you as the leader and you are the person that they are trusting and following. It's awesome to have a great upline. Your upline can do all kinds of things for you and they're not going to disappear on you. But it is so important for the people that you sign to see you become the leader, because you're the one they really want to follow. You're the one they trusted. You're the one they followed into the business. They just want to follow you. Does that make sense? Yeah. Am I taking too long?
Doing great.
Okay. So that's, you know, when you're doing your personal growth and all that, that's kind of why I say that. And I hope that helps you understand why everyone says personal growth, because those places are hard to get to sometimes. I mean, even for me, it's like, oh, I don't want to make this phone call, or I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing to grow, or all those kind of things. And and that's why it is such a journey. Like everyone says, what was your journey? What was your journey? And, you know, in the beginning, I'm like, what do you mean it's a journey? Well, I've figured it out. It is a big journey. And when things happen in your business, if you become a leader from the beginning, when things happen in your business, like the back office or shipping, or someone else that comes, you know, leaves your team and goes to another company or does whatever they're going to do, your people are not going to leave. They're going to stick with you. You can make that phone call to your team and go, I know shipping sucks right now, but guess what? Plexus is going to make it right, and we're in this together. And guess what? They're going to trust you because they watched you lead them the whole time. So it's great for like sustaining your team. And the reason why I say that is because like when I went to Emerald, I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I wasn't, like, if I look at the leader I was then, I think I had a lot of work to do because I just didn't know, we were still trying to figure it out. And so I feel like now when we had the back office changeover, we didn't really lose anybody. And I saw other teams losing people because they were panicking and, another thing I think as a leader, that's a really good tip that I'll give you is don't allow your team to complain. Don't allow them to have negative energy. Just don't allow it. If someone goes on my team page and is complaining about shipping or losing weight or whatever it is, I shut it down instantly. Like, I just can't. We've been through product changes. We've been through uplines leaving. We've been through back office changes. We've been through all kinds of things. And the one thing that I can tell you is that if you are strong and you just say, you know what, it doesn't matter what they're going to throw at us, we'll be fine. Your team will react accordingly. The rest of your team is going to be like, oh, we're fine. And a great example of that is like the back office changeover was sucky. It was hard, but look at how many dual promotions we had the last 2 months. It was insane. There was tons of people promoting, even though, we're now just getting clear of all that chaos and shipping's up to par now and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was pretty rough there for a while. And so something that I tell my team all the time, so I'm not going to keep you up too much longer, but I do want to give you this quote, and it is, wherever you go, there you are. And so I feel like that is always applicable. So if you are not rank advancing, if you are struggling to get customers, if you can't get sign-ons, you need to go back to that quote and think about it, because it's probably you and not anything else. It's just like me. People keep asking me, when are you going to go diamond? When are you going to go diamond? I'm not doing what I need to do to go to diamond right now. So that's why I'm not diamond. I need to go recruit and sign new people and do all this stuff. And I've got a lot of other things going on right now. And so I know why I'm not going to diamond. And it has nothing to do with my team. They're all working. They're all doing what they need to do. It's me. And I tell my team that all the time. Hey, you know what? You need to look in first before you look out. So just make sure that you keep that in mind. I mean, I think it's an awesome quote. I'm going to hang it in my office. But it's so easy to look out and go, well, I lost a customer because the products don't work, or I didn't, this person's mad about shipping and that person's mad about this or that or whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, you could have cured that problem if you would have followed up faster, if you would have, made sure they're, you're going to lose customers and stuff. But on the big things, rank advancements and promotions, make sure you're looking at yourself first. And then if you're doing your personal growth and you feel like you're doing everything right and you've called your upline and you've said, listen, I'm stuck, what can I do? Be honest with me. Tell me for real, what am I not doing right? And you've done all that and you can't get any further. Okay, maybe there is something else affecting your business, but you definitely have to look in first. Does anybody have any questions for me? Was that what you wanted, Elizabeth?
That is good stuff. I was gonna see if anybody had a question first, but I'm not crying, I promise. I could probably. That's some deep stuff, and some of you are
you crying again, Elizabeth?
No, I promise I'm not crying. I'm not crying. I know some of you are silver or gold, or working past gold, or some of you are not silver yet. And I just want to say that's some deep stuff. But it's so important. I cannot tell you, Erin, how much I appreciate you being real and you being honest and open with us tonight. It takes a lot of guts and humility, for sure, to be able to share some of those things with us, because I love that you you really kind of stressed on that. It is all about us, and it's all about inward. You know, I personally, and a lot of you all on this call know, I was stuck at senior gold for 10 months. And that's not years by no means, but I was still frustrated in the beginning. And when I started looking inward, there were definitely things I needed to work on. And so I know I probably say that a lot, but I love that you said that, because it's also, I love, again, that you just reiterated that when you sign your first ambassador, that's when you become a leader. It's not when you're gold or senior gold. It's not in your title. It's merely in who you are. And, you know, I even say when you started posting on Facebook, you became a leader. That Facebook became a part of your business. You know, what you do and that personality that you carry everywhere you go, in the grocery store, in the mall, at public events, everywhere you go, you have a name to uphold. You have a personality, and people are watching you. I mean, honest to God, I think twice before well, there are a lot of things that are just in my nature, but holding the door for people, asking, have you had a nice day to the cashier? You never know if they're going to join your team next month. I mean, really. So I love that you shared about just really going deep, and, you know, anyway. So
I don't know what level you're, you know, it's hard. I hope I didn't talk over a lot of your people, because I don't know what level you guys are all at. So yeah. I hope I wasn't like freaking you out, but I guess I wish I had someone tell me that stuff when I first started too, because it's a tough journey. It's a lot of work. And if someone tells you that getting to Emerald is easy, they better tell you their secret too, because it's hard. It's a lot of work, and it's fun, and it's amazing, but you definitely have to grow and stretch yourself all the time. Mm-hmm. Be looking for it, because you got to do it.
That's right. It's absolutely do. Did anybody on the call have a quick question for Erin?
I do.
Okay.
Erin, you went really quick in the beginning with your journey and adding people, and I'm just curious to know what was the most successful thing that you did to move that quickly and add people to your team that quickly?
So when I signed up in the beginning, I just literally called all the people that I knew that were closest to me and was like, you've got to do this with me, period. Like, you have to hear about it. You have to do this with me. You know, and I think some of that is influence, like how much influence do you have? Some of that is that people, if you're struggling in that department, so if you're struggling to make that phone call, or you're struggling to get the response that you want, it's probably either a credibility issue, like I don't know you. So sometimes people will struggle, like if they don't have good credibility with their sphere. The other reason why you would struggle is your own belief. And that is probably the number one reason why people struggle. Like, I've got a girl right now that's coming back, and she's fairly religious, and I'm religious, and so I'm talking to her, and she's telling me the kind of responses that she's getting from people. So, you know, she's like, well, I almost feel like they're brushing me off or picking on me or whatever. And I said to her, like, let me ask you something. If you were going to talk to somebody about turning their life towards God, how convicted would you be? Mm-hmm. Right? How much passion would you have for that person to believe in God? And she was like, oh, they could never tell me no. And then I was like, well, do you have that same kind of conviction when you're talking to them about plexus? And
ouch. I get it, Erin.
And she didn't, but she didn't And that's what I'm talking about. These are the conversations I'm talking about. She didn't have that conviction. And when I turned it around into something that she could relate to, now she understands, and so that's why, you have to listen twice as much as you talk, because you have to find out where is the bump. And you sometimes have to tear it all apart and dig through it to see what it is. We also use 3-ways a lot. Like, we were doing 3-ways before anyone else was really talking about 3-ways in plexus. I saw that Sarah Robbins did them, and so we just picked them up. And when we used to, this is a funny thing too, like when I did 3-ways in the beginning, I literally typed out everything about all the products and every single way you got paid. And they were like, my fingers would be cramping from typing so much. And obviously I don't do that now because I've learned, that you can give less information, but that is how we grew. We did 3-ways constantly. We did them. We taught our people to do them. We just did them over and over and over and over. And so that helped a lot. But even in the 3-way, do you have a downline, Julie?
Yeah.
Are you new? Yeah. So even when you're doing a 3-way for them, if you don't have that conviction, it's not going to be good. Because you have to be able to tell, there's no one that can get on a computer and tell me that plexus does not work. Or they can't, there's no one that can tell me that financially it's not going to work, that physically it's not going to work. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you drink everything organic and eat everything organic and you're in perfect health. Let me tell you something. Broccoli has 40% of the nutrients it had 50 years ago. So unless you want to eat 9 cups of vegetables and 14 pieces of fruit and, unless you're eating all that in a day, you're not getting the nutrients that you need. Period. End of story. I don't care who you are. And if you're not eating 100% organic, you're seriously in trouble because you're shoving toxins in your mouth constantly, hormones, processed food, preservatives, it's just sugar, sugar's in everything, crackers, chips, cookies, all the sweets plus everything that's not sweet has sugar in it. So there's not a person out there that couldn't benefit from the products, and you just have to have that conviction. You have to know it for yourself, because people can smell the fear a mile away. It's a mile away. If you don't have conviction, they will find the spot that you doubt and they will attack it. It's just, I've seen it happen so many times. And so it's instead of walking away with your tail between your legs, you have to say, that's cool that you don't understand. I'll check back with you in a year, And it's just, you cannot let any of that, you can't let any roadblocks or any no's or any fear stop you from whatever you want to do. And that is why, tell me if you need to cut this off, Elizabeth, but that is why knowing what your why is super important. And I don't mean a why well, I want to have financial freedom. Well, that's cool. Or, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's great. If you're putting that down as your why, then you're not digging deep enough into your why. What is it going to do for you? What is staying home with your kids going to do for you? What is financial freedom going to do for you? Is it bringing your husband home? Is it giving you more time to see your family? Is it last year we spent 3 months traveling to see our family. 3 months of the year. Whereas before we had 2 weeks vacation and we used to fight over whose family we were going to see. You know, I mean, and so when you figure out what your why is, then you need to use it as fuel. So if your why is to be a stay-at-home mom, let's just say that's what your why is. You have a little kid and you want to stay home with your son. Then you take your daily method of operation. Like, let's say you're going to contact 3 people a day. And every time that you don't want to make those contacts, you need to think about your child and say, in your mind to your child, it's really not worth the effort for me to make these 3 phone calls to stay home with you. Right? You would never say that to your kid, would you? You would never do it. And so that is how you get a why that's going to fuel you, instead of like, I want financial freedom, because everyone can just look at that and go, well, not everyone gets financial freedom. So if I don't make these phone calls today, the chances of me doing it are unlikely anyway. Only 3%, you know, you can make up a million reasons why. That why can be brushed to the side. Does that make sense? You got to get deep in the why, way deep into it. So where it's something that you can't deny. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Sorry, Elizabeth. I didn't mean to like go off on some other tangent, but
No.
I think that's just as good as the first tangent.
Yeah.
It's definitely ouch. I mean, it's definitely, so you're right. I mean, I think that's even probably one of the biggest questions that any of us could have with ourselves and with other people is, okay, you say you want it. Do you want it this bad? You know,
Right.
let me look at your why. Let me read it. Like I did that just this week. I've got somebody that's trying their hardest to go from silver to gold right now. And I was randomly looking through one of our old coaching and accountability groups, and I found their why. And I was like, boom, I'm going to send it to them. I want you to remember what you posted over a year ago, you know? And so, and they were just like, wow. So really, really, really look. And I have to go back and look at my why, honestly, because I get lost in all this personal development and all of this team building. And I'm like, well, why? You know, you really do have to revisit it all the time.
and it's going to change. It's going to change. I mean, my why today, obviously my husband's retired, so that why is gone. But today, you know, I want to create a legacy for my family of giving. So I want to make enough money that we can seriously benefit some other people, and I can leave something behind for my kids so that they can continue to bless people through their lifetime. But that didn't come along for me till much later, you know? I mean, we all do our dream boards and all that kind of stuff, but you know, once you get to a place where you don't have to worry about paying your bills, your brain starts thinking about a lot different things than you would think of. I mean, if you can just imagine that your paycheck goes in your bank account and then all your bills get automatically paid the next day. And then you don't have to check your bank account ever again when you go buy groceries, when you go want to buy some new clothes, when you want to go whatever you want to buy. You can just go to the store and buy it. When that happens, now you're just thinking about, well, what can you do to help somebody else? That's all you think about, because that's all you have to think about. Your life is fully taken care of. And so that is, you know, really what you're working towards, is getting to a place where you're not self-centered and you're more focused on other people. And that's hard to do when you're struggling to pay your bills.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard when you're walking. That's why I tell people, when people say, I don't know where to find people, I don't know where to prospect, I'm like, man, do you know how many people walk around the grocery store with a calculator? there's a lot of people that walk around the store with a calculator. There's a lot of people on food cards. There's a lot of people, you know, who need new cars or better transportation. Their kids need clothes. They're not in sports or whatever it is. There's a lot of people out there that need this financial opportunity. A lot.
Yeah. So it goes back to conviction. It goes back to that conviction, you know?
Yeah.
And being convicted of helping. And I say that, you know, and I've even messaged that to people before, so I would encourage you all to do that. You know, when you message somebody and they might say no, say, well, I just had, capitalize it if you have to. I had to share this opportunity with you because I know how much of a blessing it is. Leave it at that.
If you have close friends and family, because I feel like a lot of you are newer in your business or haven't signed a lot of people yet. If you're in that place, you just need to get your mind right around the opportunity in the business. And you literally need to call your friends and family and say, I'm not going to stop talking to you until you at least hear me out. So you might as well talk to me today or tomorrow or sometime this week, because if you don't, I'm going to continue to call you until you allow me to show this to you, because I don't want you coming back to me in a year or two saying, why didn't you make me listen to you? I mean, if they're your close friends or family, they're going to listen to you, but you got to do it with conviction.
That's right.
Anybody else have questions? No?
No. That was a very good question, Julie. Very good question.
It caused me to take another page worth of notes.
Me too. I'm on page 3.
Sorry.
No, it's great. It's great stuff. It really is. And Erin, I just want to say thank you. Thank you again for sharing like your heart and just being so raw with us tonight and sharing your encouragement with us, because I think it's really, really good. It's foundational stuff, and I appreciate it so much.
No problem. Anytime. I'm happy to help.
Thank you all. And thank you all for getting on the call tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Loved it.
Night.
Great.
Bye.